Hello again. Wanted to make a video here, just quickly going over Ezekiel 37. As remember the last video I did talking about who gets the land, and I went through that and described how, um, Christians and basically any saint that's gone and passed on to glory, that's not their inheritance. So the idea that these covenant people bring up that, it's going to be resurrected Jews that get the land, because they can't answer the question any other way, because and they really kind of avoid this in all of their videos that they, talk about replacing the Jewish people in prophecy, and all those promises, particularly the land, because that's the one that the gift of the land is the one that really kind of solidifies them in prophecy, as far as there being a future for them as a nation, following God. And so somebody brought up to me Ezekiel 37, and this is these covenant replacement supersession people, whatever you want to call them. They do exactly the same thing. There's just as bad as the Calvinists, with taking verses and words and phrases out of context. A little piece here, a little piece there. This verse from Romans 2 and Galatians 3, and they take all these little bits and pieces out of context, where it can sound like something that it's not, and they put that all together to build their doctrine. And so someone sent me a verse, basically saying that here's a verse showing that the resurrected Jews will be brought into the land, and it's in Ezekiel 37 verse 12. It says, "Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel." All right, so out of context, that verse sounds really good, but you have to read the verses in context and understand what is going on in the whole chapter. And so if you read the verses in context, it's very obvious that this is not talking about literal people being resurrected. It's talking about God bringing the nation back into the land of Israel that he's basically scattered abroad. And the people at this time, Ezekiel, when they are dispersed and they're in Babylon, they're in a state of hopelessness. And so God is telling Ezekiel to prophesy to them and show them that he's gonna bring them back into the land. So the chapter is 28 verses. We'll just read them so you can just see how the thing flows. And here's Ezekiel 37. It says, "The hand of the Lord was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the midst of the valley which is full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord God, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live. Ye shall know that I am the Lord. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then he said unto me, Prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, Son of man, say unto the wind, Thus saith the Lord God, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood up upon their feet in an exceeding great army. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. So he's now explaining him basically what this allegory or what this picture is of these bones being resurrected and God putting flesh on them and putting life and breath into them. He's explained to Ezekiel now what this is. These bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, our bones are dried and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Now, we got to think when we're reading, if these were resurrected Jews, we haven't gotten to verse 12 yet, but if these were resurrected Jews, would they be in a state of hopelessness? No, they're saved. They're with the Lord now. So they're not, this is not what that's talking about. They're not in a state of, people who have died and are now with the Lord are not in a state of hopelessness. All right. So it says, therefore prophesy and say to them, thus saith the Lord, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. So this is basically, it's continuing the picture of these bones being dead and dried and lifeless. This is continuing the picture of that whole scenario that God has painted for Ezekiel as an allegory for basically the scattered nation of Israel. And you shall know that I am the Lord when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves. And I shall put my spirit in you. You shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then you shall know that I, the Lord, have spoken it and performed it, saith the Lord. Again, God doesn't need to put his spirit in people who are saved and have gone on. They've already had his spirit, and they continue to have it. Verse 15, the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, so it's a continuation of this. Moreover, thou son of man, take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. And the nation of Israel at this time has been split into two kingdoms for some time. Then take another stick and write upon it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions, and join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. So he's talking about the two kingdoms coming back together and becoming one. And that has never happened, and it won't happen until the Lord comes back to reign over them in the millennium. And join them one to another into one stick, they shall become one in thy hand. Verse 18. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? So he's talking about, if you tell the children of Israel, Ezekiel, these first 17 verses that I've spoken to you, and they say, what does this mean? All right, he's gonna tell them what it means. Verse 19, say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in thy hand, the hand of Ephraim, the tribes of Israel, and his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, make them one stick, and they shall be one in thine hand. Again, talking about the two kingdoms coming back together to be one. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. And say unto them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen. That's what this whole thing is talking about. This whole chapter is talking about him taking the children of Israel from among the heathen and bringing them back together, back into the land. From among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountain of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with the detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, and even they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them. Again, resurrected people who are like the angels that are in heaven whenever in the resurrection. They don't multiply. They don't marry. They don't produce children. Okay, not talking about them. And multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forever. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I, the Lord, do sanctify Israel, when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. Again, very clear what this is talking about. They didn't see this completely fulfilled in their time. Of course, God did bring them back into the land, and God can use prophecies in partial fulfillment and complete fulfillment. A complete fulfillment of this whole chapter will not happen until the millennium, when Jesus Christ comes back to reign over the earth. But it is very, very exceptionally clear. This is not an instructional prophecy, as some certain pastors are starting to say now, like where if then prophecies. There's no if then prophecy in Ezekiel 37. This is a sure thing. As sure as the sun's going to come up tomorrow, this is a fulfillment, or this is a prophecy that has no contingencies. This will happen, and God will reign over the Jewish people in the flesh, and the heathen, meaning the Gentile nations, in the millennium. So again, as we see, if we can read the scriptures in context, they will explain themselves. We don't need to take little bits and pieces of verses here and there and piece stuff together. If you're doing that, you're just you're as heretical as anybody else that's wresting the scriptures for whatever other purpose. So the covenant people, just as bad as Catholics or Calvinists in the way that they are trying to apply the scriptures in this manner. So I hope that was a help to you. If somebody approaches you or asks you about, well, what about Ezekiel 37? Well, that's how you're supposed to understand Ezekiel 37. All the verses together in their context. See you in the next one.